वो बोलता है कि यार मैं ना डीमार्ट जितना डिस्काउंट मैं भी दे सकता हूँ, बट मैं कहाँ दिखाऊंगा? इन इंडिया द कैश यूसेज इज स्टिल द सेम. We are aiming to use UPI in a better structured manner where everybody benefits out of it, even RBI, even banks, and even customers.
Cash is more of like a safety that I feel.
Research before you start anything concrete is very important. So our merchants are very happy because this is the first UPI app that is being built for them. Like Bombay में एक saying है, Uber और Ola के आने से काली पीली बंद नहीं हुई.
Financial services in India is an industry which is as equivalent as FMCG in its market size. Today, we have a founder who sold his B2B SaaS startup when he was in college and right now is pursuing his second startup. We welcome Sushil Kurri on the show. This episode is mainly focused towards what he did in his first startup and right now what he is doing in his second startup. Stay tuned with the LaunchCast.
So, welcome Sushil भैया, I would say now, मतलब आप you have that vibe with you, like एकदम young है आप अभी 25 साल के. So, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
So this is LaunchCast और हम 2 बंदे हैं, बाकी 10 बंदों की टीम है. सब ट्विटर भी चलाते हैं, इंस्टाग्राम भी चलाते हैं. And our main focus is on 0 to 1 startups and student enterprises. So please give a quick introduction on yourself. What is the backstory behind this guy here? Right?
Okay. So myself Sushil Kurri. I'm born and brought up in Bombay, but my roots are from Telangana, Hyderabad. This is my second startup called PocketATM, but my first startup was into B2B SaaS solutions for hotels, malls, industries, factories, and in HR vertical. So I'll tell you a bit brief about my first stint. So in 2012, when I was studying in college, I used to work in several places to kind of, get some extra income or extra.
What were you like studying and what places?
I did BMS, Business Management Studies in Bombay. While doing that, I was working in several places to earn some extra income, kind of college में जो खर्चे होते हैं वो करने के लिए. So I used to work in several wine shops also to manage the liquor books, inventory books. It was a very cumbersome job. So when you have a liquor license in any of the state in India, there are many big reports that you have to maintain, and big reports are too big. So it used to take me 3 hours a day per wine shop or per liquor store to maintain those reports. So I said, how will I be able to achieve 2-3 lounges or 2-3 liquor stores in a day so that I can earn some extra income, right? So I, along with my friend, I thought of developing an application that could give me calculative figures, and that's when we started a software that was actually giving me good figures to directly copy it down, and I was able to do that 3-hour job in 1 hour now. So one fine day I thought, why don't I sell this to restaurants or directly sell the software? So the first customer we got was Shalimar Hotel, Bridge Candy. Then I got a lot of confidence, though I undervalued my software because I was like, nobody told me how to do a business, what is the value, what is ARR, what should be the cost of a license, what is the licensing fee, what is SaaS, and I was very new to this place. I sold it to 2-3 restaurants and lounges, and one fine day I got a confidence that why don't I go to big players like Taj, Hyatt and all. So when I went to Taj kicked me out saying that you're very small, company form bhi nahi kiya hai, and you are selling a software to Taj. To become a Taj vendor, you need to be very big, at least a 500, like 200, 300 ka tech company. It should be that bad. And we were 2 people, my friend and myself. Then somehow I felt very bad because I was like just 23 at that time, 23, and then I wanted to do something. I continued to pursue. Somehow I got some references in Taj and I spoke to them, I showed them, I demoed them like for 3-4 months continuously. एक दिन उन्होंने बोला कि यार what do you want? You are struggling with Taj and you are not able to crack it. What do you want? I said this is a system. आप trial कर लो 6 महीने के लिए. If you don't find it well, I'll move out. Then they said it will not work because आपका भी manual process है. If you can integrate the software with my point of sales, then it would make lot of sense to me because I can cut down a manpower immediately. That will add value. Then Taj was using micros that time and we were not able to integrate because that was a huge cost for me. 10 lakh rupees was a huge cost back then. So I said Taj Hotel that I cannot buy this because I don't even know how to raise funds. I'm very new. Apparently they bought the license for me and luckily we could integrate with Micros Symphony, and then we deployed in Taj property, and the same thing what I was doing for 3 hours, right, that was happening in 5 minutes now. Then we deployed in all Taj Hotels in Bombay. Since from then, cut to today, I named a software called Cocktail World Software that's implemented across 1,000 plus hotels and restaurants to manage complete inventory of liquor and also some excise books if you have. And this is the only software that can interface with any point of sales in the world. So that's the story. While doing this, I also introduced a software called Facility Management Solution because I was deploying this Cocktail World software in one of the restaurants owned by Phoenix Malls. And that's when I got in touch with Phoenix Malls top people, and they asked me to develop something that can help them to manage the entire mall, because it's a very huge property, 9 lakh square feet, 10 lakh square feet. For them, managing this on paper is very cumbersome job. And that time we never had a good solution. Solutions in India were kind of supplied by US companies most of the time, and they were very costly, and they never used to understand the customization part of the making it a user specific customization. That was a very tough job for them, and they never used to understand from anybody. Then that's when few people from Phoenix asked me to develop an application that could help them really on a phone based. Then we formed a concept, we understood entire operations, and then we developed an application called Complaint Management System that helped Phoenix to streamline all the complaints. And we found a concept called Smile Center that is being followed by all the malls in India, which operates the product which I built and make register all the complaints that you get in the mall, like related to housekeeping, electric, plumbing, HVAC and everything in a one podium, and it keeps escalating until it gets resolved. So मुझे बहुत इंटरेस्ट आया उस पर्टिकुलर सेगमेंट में, बिकॉज nobody was actually catering to that segment that time. Then I put in more thoughts, efforts, and I continued to discuss with the malls, understood all the parameters of complaint, checklist, work permit, gate pass, and other things, AI, ML, including energy consumption patterns, and moreover to help and make a mall or a big property a paperless operations. Luckily, we introduced 7 features in 3 years, and I've implemented software across all the malls in India: Phoenix, Forum, Nexus, Inorbit, Orion. Every mall in India, includes Soho House, London, and Soho House Zoo, use my application. And I was awarded by Phoenix in 2018 for making entire Phoenix Mall 90% paperless operations. That's one of the achievements. I feel that, looking doing R&D, understanding the user specifics, understanding user requirements very well, and catering that into a software. And even for us, it was not easy. That I've heard from you, I'm making a BRD, PRD, and developing. We failed 7 times in 3 years. My 8th version of the software was successful in the malls. Logic, combination, permutation, everything was not fitting right every time, because there are a lot of people involved giving suggestions, advice, and everything. But at the end, making a process that could fit to a mall requirement was a more, that was a more concerning thing for us, rather than, only deploying a software, as it is. It was not adaptable. People would not use the way you have built it, because a lot of people from down level, like housekeeping people, to top level management, everybody use application, right? So not everybody will understand what exactly the phone application works like. Everybody don't use the same demographic phones or same bandwidth phones. Everybody had different bandwidths also. And phone application 2015-16 was very new. We were using BlackBerry, if you remember that time, So getting an application on Android, BlackBerry was a very tough job. But still we could achieve that because of the passion we had. So these are two softwares I have developed in my earlier company, and we never taken any funding because we had enough money to survive on our own. 8 years, and with these 2 softwares, I had across 600 plus clients in India. Then I took an exit as a founder in 2019, and I wanted to do something else to see how can I learn more things in software and to figure out if there's any problem which I can solve in terms of B2C rather than doing B2B. Then I was working on fintech ideas, and one fine day out of my research, this idea came in that, in India, the cash usage is still the same. Like Bombay में एक saying है, Uber और Ola के आने से काली पीली बंद नहीं हुई. So what we are saying is, why don't we convert the cash withdrawal on UPI directly rather than going to ATMs? Because any which ways, ATMs is a loss-making business for banks. Okay, but RBI wants that banks should have ATMs because that's a touch point that helps people. But for banks, ATM is really a cost center because they have to pay for electricity, for the space, machine, cash logistics, everything happens. So that's when we thought of developing an application that could give like Uber-like experience, Ola-like experience, but for a cash withdrawal. So that's why we formed a company called PocketATM. And today the application is live in some areas of Bombay. And we have touched across 3,000 transactions with this application. And we are aiming to make a UPI. We are aiming to use UPI in a better structured manner where everybody benefits out of it, even RBI, even banks, and even customers. Okay, so there is a liquidity in market where people would want to give away. And we don't know now, like for an example, if you have 1,000 rupees extra in your pocket and I need 1,000 rupees, I can come and ask you directly because you are a stranger. Why would you trust me? Okay, then we have an aim that on this UPI, I should be able to give you a service where I can really request for 1,000 rupees if you have an extra cash, even if you're a stranger. So even RBI has a benefit in it because they can really see the cash withdrawal transaction happening on the system. Along with that, they can map the other transaction that is already there, like, digital payments and money transfers. That's already there. So that's the entire agenda for us to be at PocketATM. So that's the focus. But it was not easy because starting a company is not an easy journey. This is the second time I'm doing, but the effort of starting a company is again the same. It's not that easy because with every different vertical you explore, you end up looking at more problems coming in. And because you are not from that vertical, you try to put more efforts to understand many nuances in that vertical. So that takes more efforts, So in startup, I feel that research before you start anything concrete is very important. My co-founder Mir Mehta and myself have researched like for 9 months before we even started talking to somebody for investment and actually developing a prototype of a product. We both have really went in Vashi streets and took a survey from, small mom and pop stores, general stores, petrol bunks, that what is the usage of cash, how do you deposit cash in the bank, how would this application will help you if in case there is such application that allow you to dispense cash if you have that excess of cash, So that's what we have done, and we got a very positive result that people are looking for such applications, such usage, where it can help them to withdraw cash from nearby mom and pops rather than finding for an ATM. Okay. So second theory, why we wanted to start a PocketATM was the numbers. Okay. So in India, if you see before 2015, like before GST, before demonetization, before UPI come in, the cash in circulation in India was 14 lakh crore CIC, cash in circulation. Okay. Then GST happened, demonetization happened, and then the entire theory of UPI has come in successfully, where we love UPI. Everybody loves UPI. Even I am a guy who sometimes don't have a cash in wallet, and I just go around with the confidence that I can do a transaction on the UPI. But there are some parts people are still trying to, adapt to a UPI, but they are not able to because there are many reasons we found out. But what do you think today, after 9 years, like what is the cash in circulation today in India? What could be the possible number in India?
Must have decreased, I guess.
So it is 33 lakh crore CIC today, increased. I'll tell you, see the reason. In India, if you see the demographic, only 30% of population have the smartphones. Okay. And only 25 crore people have the bank accounts. Okay. Because of that reason, people are finding it difficult to push. But I think the government is doing very well of educating 2-tier, 3-tier cities, villages to understand what is UPI and why you should come on UPIs. There are many ways banks have started called banking corresponding agents and small setups in the financial setups in the rural areas to understand that this is a transaction you should do. This is how you can save your money. So these things I will educate more. And our use case also, luckily that fortunately this use case will be much better use case for a 2-tier and 3-tier cities because for them the ATM network is very low. I'll ask you a second question. For 150 crore population in India, how many ATMs do you think we have?
Close to 300. It's maybe 1/10 of.
How much that would be in numbers?
Yes, about 15 lakh. 15 lakhs.
So how many ATMs would it be? ATMs it will be. Correct. So in total we have 2.5 lakh ATM in India. Entire India. And that would diminishing because it's a cost center, not like
It requires the space and the
large banks like Citibanks, Axis Bank, they can have such network of ATM, but banks like Saraswat and Canara Bank, they will find it difficult to have these many touch points because it's a cost center. It doesn't allow the business to have these many touch points. That's why they merge with some large bank and say that in this area, this is the bank and we have collaborated with, and this is the bank's ATM. You can feel as a home ATM for us. So any which ways you have a three transactions free and 2 outside ATM and 3 in-house ATMs. Okay. So our intention is that if banks are not finding it difficult to maintain ATM, then why do they need a physical ATM? They any which ways have merchant network. Why don't we integrate such solution and help bank to make their customer go to the respective merchant to take a cash, and merchant will benefit. Okay. Now I'll talk about the 3 benefits. How will RBI benefit from it? We're still making a use case. We're submitting it to NPCI and saying that this is the use case we should do. So see, RBI getting new things on UPI is the best thing. Okay, and cash withdrawal, nobody has thought of getting it on the UPI end. If we can get that, it would be much better. Okay, the digitization will increase, people will start using more, and there will be much better understanding in 2-tier and 3-tier cities as well, where they can connect with it and they can kind of leverage the network to get cash whenever they want in small quantums. Okay. So first of all, before I even discuss about those 3 advantages, let's think about why do you need cash today? Most of the transactions you do UPI. Why do you need cash?
I think for safety, right? It's like cash is for me also personally. I don't use cash, right? I don't have cash, but cash is more of like a safety that I feel.
Safety. So you know where you're going somewhere. If you cannot pay, if your network is weak, you will end up giving cash. Second thing, in daily life, your maid takes in cash. Your maid every Friday they will ask for cash. Your children who are going to school, they would need cash because the auto wala, bus wala, obviously they have to do cash. Your parents who are in like above 40-50, they don't use UPIs that frequently because they are not technology savvy. You end up giving cash to them. Okay, that's why in India the average cash withdrawal is 5,500 rupees per transaction. Okay, so what we are saying, we want to give a quantum, like even whenever you want 250, 350 or 450 or 500, 700 something, you can go and immediately take it from any of the mom and pop store rather than going to an ATM. So that's the experience you want to build along with everything that is possible, like money transfer, your digital payments, other payments that happens on the UPI, everything we want to build. But this will be a flagship product. Okay, so this is the use case for RBI. Now for banks, what we are saying, rather than you sending a customer to ATM, because I'll tell you, if you have an HDFC ATM outside, okay, for that particular ATM to come in break even for that particular day, they need 35 different banking customers to come and withdraw cash. Why? Because other bank will pay him 17 rupees per transaction. Okay, that means HDFC is also paying 17 rupees for his customers transaction to other bank. What we are saying is, you have a merchant network in Indanagar, you have your customer set of customers in Indanagar. HDFC will have 1,000 merchants over here who is using. So I can enable HDFC's customer to HDFC merchants. So rather than having 5 ATMs, they can have 1,000 touch points to withdraw cash. Okay, customer benefit. So customer, rather than taking that 5,500 in a one single slot, they can start taking smaller quantum, 500, 700 whenever it is required, because it's easy to get cash. Correct? Because rather than saving that 5,500, it's very tough. Like in rural areas, you cannot even store that 5,000 rupees because you are scared that it might get robbed. Correct? That's the reason you don't do. So this is what we're trying to do. We understood the entire segment. And for merchant, what is merchant benefiting out of it? So every merchant, if you see today also, whenever the cash transaction happens, merchant end up going to bank to deposit cash. Okay, once in a week at least. Okay, he deposits half of the cash to save that money, and he use that half of the cash to buy the inventory for the next day. Okay, so that's what a merchant does. So why we said merchant, whatever money you want to really deposit in a bank account, okay, you don't go to bank, you dispense to us, and we'll give some benefit to you. And that's how we're giving benefit. And we started this literally in Vashi. let's suppose in the month of April, we went live on a different complete product architecture. We changed it now. We pivoted that model to a different level now. So when we went live, we have seen that we could get 200 users in like, 1.5 month easily without even doing any digital promotions, only offline promotion, because it was need of the hour. Okay, and we are doing in very hinterlands of Vashi, like, Bongkode, Koper Kerne, your Panvel side, So the in ATM infra is very less over there. So we have seen 200 users subscribing to our application and joining our, wait list to say that I want to do. So we enabled few of them and started doing transaction. After a month, when we did a survey to merchant, like, do you feel comfortable in dispensing cash in this way? What was the problem you faced? And is it even a very convenient method to do? What is the benefit? So few customers said us very, very interesting thing that, sir, you giving me some extra percentage to dispense 1,000 rupees cash. That is okay. Okay. But the best part is on a negative CAC, I'm exploring a new customer coming to my shop.
एक तीर दो निशान.
Then यार like वो बोलता है कि यार मैं ना डीमार्ट जितना डिस्काउंट मैं भी दे सकता हूँ, बट मैं कहाँ दिखाऊंगा, किसको दिखाऊंगा? क्योंकि मेरे पास जो आते हैं ना वो आसपास के लोग ही आते हैं. मेरे दुकान के बारे में वो आसपास के लोग भी पता है, नए लोग को मैं कैसे करूँगा? तो अब बोलता है कि मैं डिस्काउंट दे देता हूँ आपके कस्टमर्स को. जब आपका बंदा कैश लेने आता है तो मेरे पास कुछ और चीज़ें देख लेता है और खरीद कर लेके जाता है. डेयरी है तो दूध लेके जाता है, ब्रेड है तो ब्रेड लेके जाता है, या ग्रोसरी स्टोर है तो 2-3 सामान खरीद कर लेके जाता है वो. तो मेरे लिए वो बेनिफिशियल है. देन we thought that why don't we streamline this? Then now what we're building in PocketATM is so I'll tell you the experience first. So me being a customer, PocketATM customer, I'm in Indranagar and I'm very new to this place. I don't know where is the ATM. I need 1,000 rupees cash immediately. What will I do is, I'll go to PocketATM application. I will request for 1,000 rupees. PocketATM application will ask you that how many meters you would want to travel to get this cash. You select 500 meters. In this 500 meters, PocketATM will send the request to all the PocketATM merchants that whoever has the capacity to dispense of 500 rupees, please accept the request, exactly like Uber driver gets the request. Okay, one of the merchants, let's suppose in 200 meters accepted the request. I got his entire profile in my application, like you get profile of Uber driver in your application, correct? I put a map, I'll walk towards his shop, I'll go towards his shop, I scan the QR code, I'll transfer the money, he'll give me cash in return. So now what we are putting in, like, when you match a right merchant to withdraw cash, while you're walking towards the shop, you will be able to see 5 fast moving items of that shop with heavy discount prices. Whatever a merchant can give. Okay, you while going towards him, you will put those things in the cart, you reach to that place, and then you take the cash and you take those whatever things you have bought or put it in the cart while reaching his shop, he will keep those things ready. So we have 2 things doing over here. So this is what is benefiting now. So our merchants are very happy because this is the first UPI app that is being built for them. Otherwise, they only take transactions, right? They're seeing a benefit of using this UPI. They can dispense liquidity and they can probably they're exploring new customers coming to the place without any new discovery happening of this merchant. So that is what we are trying to see. So this we are also claiming ourselves saying that we are the UPI application that want to focus on merchant side first and then customer side. Because we want to make sure that every merchant cannot go on Amazon, cannot list himself on Amazon, cannot become digital, because nobody is that tech savvy in small mom and pop stores. But they can obviously deliver the best experience to the customers if they've been discovered by right people at right time. Okay, so that we're trying to solve in this application again. Any which way the customer has to go to merchant place so you can discover. So in the Uber scene, if you see, when your Uber comes, a lot of advertisements you see in the Uber car, right? See, right? We are trying to do with merchants. That was when you come, so that advertisement is built in the phone application. Customer can see literally what are the things you're selling at a heavy discounted price, and I can probably book it just before I reach your place. So that's our intention at PocketATM, and this is what we are building. And there are many things that's coming. This is a flagship feature which I discussed about, but there are many things what we are doing as well at PocketATM. We are trying to talk to RBI and NPCI both together to make a use case and see that how can we make India more digitized in terms of cash also, make it more appropriate for them to understand, So that was one of the questions that we got from a regulatory body, that how will you manage the forged fake notes. Okay, so we said that it's again very easy. If any of the customer tells me I got a fake note, I'll ask him to click a picture and send it to me. I'll store it in my database, okay, and I can track the entire note at where it has come from, from which merchant it has come from, where is the money. So whenever there's a fake notes this thing, I can identify from my database and send it a report to RBI saying that these many fake notes had been registered in my application, and these numbers are the fake notes, and they are being distributed among these areas. This is what we should do. So that is the database we are collecting for the bank, for the RBI also. So that's how it's gonna benefit to RBI as well. So yeah, this is the entire theory what we are trying to build.
Sushil Kurri is a multi-dimensional guy. There are multiple parts to his life. The next part coming up has a whole new different perspective of his startup and what did he do in his life. Stay tuned with the LaunchCast for the next part coming up.